So 2023 Bristol Bay Sockeye Run recap. We didn't have any real issues with the boat or mechanics. A couple small things, but nothing that stalled us from fishing any of the tides. We were able to fish every tide, no breakdowns, and that's always a bonus because sometimes that can really waylay you if it hits in the middle of a big day and you're sitting on the sidelines. So that was pretty successful. And crew, we always have one rock star, one guy that's pretty good, and one guy that wishes he never signed up for the deal. But that's kind of fun. That's part of the fun. I think developing young guys and girls in those kind of conditions really is a fun part of Bristol Bay. You know, you see kids get to really learn how to work and build work ethic and find out what hard work's all about. So I know there's a lot of young deckhands out there that go through that. So 2023 run in Bristol Bay came in at just over 52 million. It was very sporadic in the beginning. We had a lot of strong southeast winds that were kind of pushing the fish out. So it seemed like it held them out of the district for a while, and then they would pulse in, and then we would get another good blow come by, and it would kind of hold them out. So looking back at the season, it seemed like those southeast winds played a big part in the cyclical nature of the way the fish came in this year. But they were a lot of big fish. We were seeing about a 5.6 pound average, and so a lot of two ocean fish, which is going to provide good big fillets for this upcoming season. We started the season in the Nushagak. We went over there despite knowing that the king harvest was going to restrict some of the sockeye fishing in the front end of the run. Our radio group was kind of focused on that river district, so we wanted to be with the rest of the guys to maximize our efforts as a team. And so we started there. We got off to a pretty good start once the fish hit their escapement triggers that allowed us to start fishing. And the kings were still lagged behind, and I was really glad to see that the biologists took the effort to preserve the king run and do what they can to best manage a sockeye fishery that overlaps with a king fishery. We're making good efforts to help with the escapement of kings and providing the resource for the sportsmen upriver to fish. So we have to work together to kind of manage this resource. And it's kind of the first time I've seen the sockeye fishery have to be managed that way, but I think in the future we're going to need to do it, and it's going to continue to be part of the Nushagak fishery is the king management plan. So with that said, it started to slow on I think the 3rd of July, so we transferred to the Naknek, which was just starting to get kind of cooking. Should have left maybe a day or two earlier, but you can never plan those things just perfect. And got there, got some good fishing in, and then it went quiet for a couple days around the 10th, 11th, 12th, and we're all just sitting around like wondering if the run was over. So kind of calling the biologists, trying to figure out what they're thinking, talking to the plant managers, seeing what they're thinking about the run. So then on the 13th, the fish that had been held out by the weather really seemed to just pour in, and we had some, big 30,000 pound days, bright fish. You weren't seeing any signs of the run kind of coming to a tail end when you start to see fish that are starting to turn colors and start to get into their spawning phases. So it looked like it was going to continue, and it did. It continued right up into the early 21st, 22nd with decent, and then we pulled out because of the building that we have going on back home. I decided that okay, I had enough fishing for the year. Things are good. They're talking about the price, and so we decided to come out on the 22nd and wrap things up and head home. And there's guys stayed and fished a little bit extra and did pretty good, I think. But that's always the case. Every year somebody stays, does better. What you wish you stayed another day or two, but would you have caught those fish? That's the question.
Right.
when you're out there on the water and trying to figure out what the fish are doing, I think a therapist would be good on the water. Maybe that's something we could start as a floating therapist.
That's true. Yeah.